going to be 5:10. Please be on time. I was asked recently about this something that's been around, but I've seen it more recently, much more common. These heat packs that you have them and you open them up, and when you open them up, the oxygen it comes in and it starts warming itself up on Shabbat. There's nothing electric in it; it's just some sort of chemical that when it comes in contact with oxygen, then it starts warming up, and you use it for various pains. Sometimes you have muscle pains. Sometimes it's just to warm up the hands. It's used for various purposes. Is this allowed to be done on Shabbat or not? There's no electricity. There's no fire. So is this mutar to be done? The halacha is, in this case, although it's not something that's discussed in earlier authorities, of course, but the precedent is found in the Gemara and in the Rishonim. Some try to say that it's asur because of refuah. Maybe there's sort of a medicine. It's a sort of a medicine and it heals. So in terms of that, one can make an argument, like we said yesterday, refuah, but it's normal for healthy people to use it. Like we said, to warm up hands. It's used maybe for comfort, so the person feels warm. So it's not necessarily going to be a problem of refuah, although it could be if you use it in a fashion that's very clearly for medicine purposes. Maybe that could be an issue of refuah. But more importantly, more fundamentally, the issue is nolad. What's nolad? The Gemara says a person is not allowed to put even something as simple as a good smell, like a cologne or a perfume, on clothes. Why can't he do that? Because he's molid, he's creating a scent. So from there, the poskim learn and essentially extrapolate to other cases that anytime there's a sort of something that resembles a creation on Shabbat, that's asul to do. So for example, this would be a perfect example. It went from room temperature, you created heat, you created warmth, there's a question of nolad, and therefore that would be asul to do, not on a Torah level, it's not like turning on a fire, but at least on a rabbinic level, that would be prohibited. I saw some try to argue that there is also a Torah prohibition. Why? What would be the Torah prohibition? Mitaken maneh, that it's considered to be fixing an instrument, because before it was unusable. And now by opening it up, you made it usable. So in a certain sense, you fixed an instrument. That argument doesn't exactly resonate with me, and I'll tell why. Because it's not a broken instrument. It's hard to argue that it's being fixed. I see it more like a bottle that has a cap, and you open the cap, you close the cap, you open the cap. You're not fixing the instrument, you're using the instrument. It's not a broken instrument that you could say you're fixing it by allowing the oxygen to come in and having it start to work. It's called using the instrument. So there's a difference in using something versus fixing something. So the most logical, it seems to be, in the halachot of Shabbat, it would be prohibited, but because of a rabbinic restriction of nolad, and not from a deoraita prohibition of mitaken maneh, and perhaps in certain cases, and depending on the way it's used, it might also be a question of a very clear appearance of refuah, of medicine on Shabbat. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.